And David, you're going to tell us a little bit about your work on display.
Yes, yeah. Well, I tend to like to work in a series. I get an idea and I work through it, and so it forms a series of related subjects. And this one is loosely called Summer in the City, which is based on New York City in the summer. So all these pictures derive from that. This is obvious, really. Lady getting into the iconic yellow cab, which sadly are not as plentiful as they used to be in New York. They're gradually phasing them out.
Have they?
Yeah.
Oh.
And so this particular model is rarely seen these days. But this was just a priest in all his regalia crossing the road in a very scuzzy area of the city. This was somebody having an ice cold tea in a Japanese tea house. He's inside. The actual figure is on the window as a sort of transfer on the window. The two hit at the bottom here were in MoMA, Museum of Modern Art in New York, just people gazing. This one's called Appreciating Rothko, a man who couldn't get much closer to a Rothko, studying it, and he's wearing like a headset, which you can hire in galleries to talk you through it.
To talk you through it, maybe we should do that here next time.
Yes. This one is just a hot Sunday morning in New York, and the man's been round the corner to get his paper, and is sitting outside to keep cool. On a sort of, I think they call them a stoop in New York, the steps that lead up to apartment buildings. Yeah. This was in not Madison Square Park. It was in Greenwich Village in a park, and this guy was just playing the piano. Presumably he must have wheeled it there every day because he wouldn't have left it there. But yeah.
Amazing. Oh, look, I hadn't noticed.
Oh,
the little man.
Yeah, man on the bench. And actually, while he was playing, a young guy came in and just started to dance. And he danced not sort of like you would in a nightclub, but he was like ballet, and he was really graceful. And of course, it attracted people over. And of course, the pianist was really pleased because it got people to sort of concentrate on what he was doing. Yeah. And this was just in the street. The two things aren't related. The messenger was just taking a breather, I think, waiting for his next job on his phone, and the police car just happened to be parked there.
And these are oil paintings?
Oil. The small ones are on linen, which I've tried out for the first time, but you can get much finer detail on linen because you don't get the same sort of texture.
Yeah.
But the bigger ones were on canvas. Yeah.
Oh, they're absolutely vibrant and great, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, the light on
Yeah,
this one.
it was because surprisingly in New York there's a lot of trees on the street, which you don't expect the first time you go.
Yeah.
But this was in Greenwich Village, and again, a lot of the streets have got tree lined, so that there's sort of dappled light coming through the trees. Yeah.
And you've got a couple of new series, so if we quickly go through those.
These are all based on film noir, which I really like. Sort of 30s and 40s films, black and white films. So I just sort of froze incidents in each of the films, and the originals were in acrylic and watercolor. So all the black is acrylic, and then the watercolor was added for the tones, the grey tones.
And the text.
The text are all song lyrics, which I thought suited the picture. Most of them are Dylan, actually. That's Dylan. That's Dylan. That's Dylan. That one isn't Dylan, but the bottom one's Dylan. So
and talking about Dylan,
Yeah.
haven't you got a Dylan here?
yeah. I wanted one other thing to put in this show, and I suddenly thought, I know, my old 45s might make, because these are printed on aluminium, which I've just discovered as a medium. So I just dug out a few of my old 45s and thought, I'll do a few of those.
Well, talking about record sleeve covers,
Yeah.
David.
Yeah, I used to work in the record industry. I worked for Decca, was my first job doing album covers. Then I went to EMI, and then I went freelance. And a friend of mine, Ken, and I did a lot of work for Virgin. We worked together and did XTC, UB40, Human League. You know, some quite big bands, which again was great fun. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. That's been absolutely fascinating and fantastic listening to you talk about your work. And I'll just do one more last pan if I can.
Yeah.
And do come along to the Guildford Arts Summer Exhibition 2024 and come and see David's work. Thank you very much, David, for talking to us.
Thank you.